Hi, I'm James Matthews-Paul. This is day one at Ipex 2014, and I'm very lucky that my first interviewee this time is Guy Gecht, Chief Executive Officer of EFI. Hi Guy.
Hey, good to see you, James.
Good to see you too. Now, I'm going to get straight in there. You're one of the major vendors that's still at Ipex this time around. Could you give us a little bit of insight as to that decision, why EFI has decided to back the show?
It's all about Europe and the UK. We made a decision a few years ago to double down on Europe. We grew the number of employees, we made acquisitions, we opened a brand new big demo center in Brussels. So this is part of the strategy of getting closer to customers, doing a lot more. We really believe in Europe. Coming back slowly from the financial crisis, but we're seeing a lot of good momentum. There's a lot of great applications, great vendors, great companies here that we want to be close with. So that's just part of our strategy.
Interesting stuff. I mean, Europe obviously, reflects EFI's core markets in a number of different ways. Can you give us some insight into the other territories that EFI is sort of seeing, I don't know, particular change or particular momentum in at the moment?
Sure. We like to continue to invest in what we do. We just talked about our investment in Europe. That means investment in R&D, in support, in sales, in marketing, in back office. To do that, we need to grow. We need to continue to grow. So we need to grow in every territory, and we're pretty lucky that the last few years we grew in every territory. 2013 was a very good growth year for all of us. We've seen much faster growth in some emerging markets. China last year crossed the milestone for us, becoming our second largest market worldwide after the US. Tremendous attachment for Fiery. Inkjet is doing quite well. Thinking about bringing more productivity software like MIS, DSF to China. But we've been lucky to grow everywhere. The investment in Europe in the last few years is paying off. We grew in Europe in 2014, and we hope to see the same thing this year.
Fantastic. Now, industrial has obviously been a key area for EFI. We've seen acquisitions like Cretaprint, like Jetrian over the last several years. What's EFI's pathway looking like in the industrial sector?
It's an area of a big excitement for us, and it's part of how we view printing. We don't view printing as an A3, A4 paper. We view printing as putting great images on any material. So industrial help us to do that, and we're seeing more and more customers do that as part of a complete solution for their customers. They print on a lot of materials, they do a lot of finishing, and they give a much higher value, high margin to their customers. So we'll continue to invest in it. Our ViewTech product lineup is very versatile. You can print on essentially every material up to 2 inches thick. We're seeing more application. We're seeing now a lot of packaging companies coming to us to do more digital. We just launched the HS100 a few months ago. We have some packaging partner customers, and we see more coming to do more digital packaging. Obviously, we have Radius as an MIS with packaging. We had a fantastic year with that last year, and we're seeing a lot of opportunities. You talked about ceramic. That's definitely an area that we see a great potential still. A lot more digital to happen, and we're thinking about growing and building printers for and product and software and Fiery front end for other applications.
And we know from experience that EFI obviously pumps a lot into research and development, but there's also a notoriety of having an acquisition strategy that is probably one of the most behemoth in the market, shall we say. Now, we always ask you who you're acquiring next.
Sure, that's not. You know what, James? I knew you were going to ask me that. I have the list here of all the target acquisitions. No, I can't tell you.
Oh, okay.
I can't tell you.
Maybe
not this time. Maybe next time. Maybe next time.
So in lieu of that, maybe I can ask you. Can you give us some insight into you're the kingpin at EFI. You're looking to grow the company in a number of different ways. Where do you start? How do you identify a potential acquisition prospect?
I'll tell you the secret. So. Definitely, we pay a lot of attention in investment internally, but we also like to expand user profit and expand the EFI further and faster with acquisitions. We're looking at 3 types of communities that we need to make happier with acquisition. Number 1 is customers. If we buy a certain company, will EFI customers will be better off? Will they like the idea that EFI now own it? So we just bought a company called Metrics that does imposition. We bought a company, DataLink, that does shipping software. We think a lot of our customers will be very happy to be able to look at that as part of what they get from EFI. The second thing on the customer front is also the customers of the company we acquire. Are they going to be better off being part of an EFI that have more resources compared to maybe being customers of a smaller company that work really hard but doesn't have the same resources we have? So customers are obviously number 1. Number 2 is our team. Is the company going to fit culturally with EFI? Do we have the same passion for the industry? Do we have the same transparency, the same innovation, appreciation for innovation, and things that define the EFI? And I can tell you, we walked away from deals because we felt like there's no good culture fit. It's as important to us as anything else. So the culture, the people, it's the second community we're trying to appeal to. And third, of course, is our shareholder. Is EFI going to be better off? Are we going to be more successful as part of the acquisition? We can buy a company with a great product and a great team, but if the product is going to shrink over time, it's not a good use of our money, it's not a good use of our effort, and it's not something that shareholders will be delighted. So if we can satisfy customers, our own team, and the shareholders, that would be a great, perfect target for us.
So EFI obviously has a vision of the market that is very particular and that it serves in a number of different ways. And Guy, I think it's fair to say that you are one of the recognised sort of luminaries of the industry, especially in digital terms. I would really like to know what your vision is for the future of print. It's a key conversation that people are having at Ipex this year.
Sure.
How do you see the print world in its entirety changing over the next 5, 10, 20 years?
So, definitely we're seeing a big printing revolution. Most of the output today is done still on analog devices. Printing brings different value, different efficiency. When you manufacture on demand, you can personalize. We see a bigger growth over and over. Look, I visited in Europe this prior week. Plenty of customers, when they have print as part of their portfolio, they're normally doing quite well. Okay, when they have digital print as part of their portfolio. So we're seeing that growing 5, 10, 20 years. Now, if you think about printing, we need to be realistic. You know, more pages are moving to electronic media. I drive with my iPad. I don't carry papers with me, and I think we're going to see more of that, especially a younger generation will be more in tune to digital documents. And I think that with that, the printing industry will have to do two things. Number one is to redefine a broader definition of print, like we do today, printing on materials that beyond paper, because at the end of the day, in the next 50 years, 100 years, we're going to be beautiful images around us on any type of materials that can be printed and digitally. So that's a tremendous opportunity for all of us. And the second thing is we need to become a lot more efficient in manufacturing. We need to make sure that what we do when we do printing, we do a very precise, data-driven, very productive way with almost zero mistakes as we do that, because we will not have the margin. So if we improve productivity, we get into digital printing, and we expand the definition of printing, we're going to see a good prosperity in 10, 20, 30 years. And after that, it's the young people like you problem. And I'm sure there are going to be a lot of other people that will help solve that.
Well, Guy, young people like us, we still need someone to look up to. Thank you very much for your contribution.
Always a pleasure.
It's great to interview you for Output, and have a great time at Ipex.
Thank you, James. Always a pleasure.
Cheers, Guy.
Thank you.